Sorry, everyone.
All right, guys. Team at silence.
Live.
Qualifying. Good luck, everybody.
Live.
Speedway. My name is Wayne Owens, alongside tonight with a very special guest in the booth, Mr. Taylor Burris, and out on the turns, we're going to have Andy DeLay. Guys, what a hell of a night we've got here. 120 laps at Charlotte. Qualifying about ready to get underway here in just a moment.
Most definitely indeed, and welcome everyone to Charlotte Motor Speedway. This track is going to be fast. It's going to be furious for these drivers as they have to take 120 laps as we race later into the evening hours here at this track. A lot of incidents could happen here, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting, and Andy, I'm pretty sure out in the turns, you're going to see a lot of passing opportunities.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be great out here. I was practicing with these guys last night, and the track, let me just tell you, it's hot as it is now. It's as what the temperature was last night, guys, and these cars get tight fast. So we're going to see a lot of action, that's for sure.
A lot of action indeed here. And one thing that is unique to Charlotte, unlike any other racetrack, is that it has various different configurations throughout the year. Now, tonight, we're going to be running on the traditional oval track. We're not going to be running the Roval. We're not going to be running the Legends, not the dirt track, but the original standard oval, and 1.5 miles wide on top of that here. So many different grooves of racing provide too here at Charlotte. And we normally see, Taylor, if I'm not mistaken, usually the early parts of the race, we tend to find the high line usually is the more preferred groove at Charlotte. And then towards the end of the race, the low line tends to pick up a lot more.
Yeah, and of course also though with how these cars are set, they could be running multiple lanes in many different parts of the race, but also during the same time. We'll be seeing cars try to work the outside for most of the race, and then we'll see some cars that try to stick to the bottom half of the track. So it's just going to be of how the driver's preference and input for the entire race will factor for each and every single one of these drivers.
Exactly. And as these guys are already turning qualifying laps here, Andy, out looking out at turn number 1 here, it looks like Raging Cajun Eddie Jones sitting on top of the board right now at a 30.525. And, you know, we were talking about it during practice before we went on the air amongst the three of us here, that these guys have been turning some solidly fast laps for a Charlotte setup. Normally, it's just about a second and a half slower. And I think we might have lost our turn-by-turn play guy, Andy DeLay there.
We're still here, man. I was just taking a look at some of this stuff. We got Eddie Jones last night. He was flying low, too. He took the pole in the practice race last night. And then Steve Thompson, he was quick, and he still is quick. Right now sitting fourth, running a 36.69. for his qualifying lap. But Eddie Jones, man, up front, up top, leading the board at 30.527.
Yep, 30.5. Well, 528 is the official timing and scoring shows us here on the pylon. And, you know, one thing that we love about the Old Bastards Racing League too, guys, and we can't forget to even talk about it here. This is the i40media Metro Ford of Chicago. Man, I can't even get Metro Ford out. I call him out throughout the week on Burning Rubber Radio, but I couldn't even say him here. I feel horrible. But either way, it's the i40media Metro Ford of Chicago Xfinity Series. And one thing, guys, don't forget, Metro Ford of Chicago, emetroford.com. If you guys need a car, whether it be delivered to your home or if you're in the Chicago metro area, make sure you go say hi to Patrick driving that number 39 machine tonight. And Andy, one thing Taylor, one thing I'm looking forward to tonight with these guys here is, and since you're new to OBRL, one thing that we love about these guys, they are clean and green throughout the majority of the race. Now, one thing that we did not mention to you as well is that the triple-digit cars do not get to take qualifying time. So hopefully we don't see anybody taking qualifying times tonight that shouldn't be, unlike last week, Andy, where we saw what was it? 3 cars take qualifying time, and one of them for 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, exactly. And they will endure the wrath of the stewards if they do that, find themselves either getting a pass-through penalty or end of the longest line.
Yep, that or, you know, I wouldn't be too surprised if after a while they park them too, because fact of the matter is too many times of doing that, it's going to just end up being more trouble than it's worth. But either way, guys, we've got just about, let's see here. We've got about 5 minutes left in qualifying here. So, Taylor, before we get ready to grid up here in the next couple of moments, any final thoughts heading into Charlotte's 120 lapper tonight?
Take care of your tires, gentlemen. This track has been known to eat up tires very late in the going. So if they can save their tires in the beginning of the race, just take care of them as best they can. Pretty sure in the long run, they'll be the faster cars before that first round of pit stops here.
Okay. Andy, any final thoughts here as we get ready to wrap it up and then go into race mode here?
Nope, just keep an eye, like Taylor says, on all these guys that come out racing hard right out the gate, because they're going to be the ones that are getting passed here after about 15 to 20 laps.
Most definitely. And also everybody watching that on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, wherever you might happen to be watching us at tonight. Hello to you all, Princess Crystal. We see you hanging out there as well, darling. Welcome into the fray as always. And, you know, I'm looking forward to Charlotte tonight. I've always enjoyed the uniqueness that is Charlotte, because one thing too, and it's different compared to other tracks that have trials, your Darlington, or not Darlingtons, your Daytonas, your Talladegas, is the entry to the trial here, Taylor, is actually a bit of a swooping corner.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a dog leg, so these drivers are going to have to negotiate it carefully, especially coming off corner exit. Turn 4 can be very difficult to negotiate. You feel the car getting a little bit too tight through that section as you're coming off corner exit, so you got to try to keep that car as close to the inside of the exit and then try to work your car out just a little bit, but make sure not to hit that wall. So got to be careful with the setup on the car. Make sure it's not too tight for you as you work your way out of turn 4, as we're watching a couple of drivers out there right now completing their qualifying lap. It's going to be critical.
Most definitely. Jim Westerfield currently was on track just a moment ago here, and we're going to be ready to run down the qualifying lineup here in just about 3 minutes. We're going to see how well these guys fare tonight here. In fact, I'm just double-checking for the sake of double-checking here, because I'm thinking our triple digits did get yelled at in the driver's meeting, Andy, because I'm not seeing anybody take any time tonight.
Exactly. Oh, one thing I will say while we got a few minutes, Wayne, next week I won't be with you guys. I'll actually be at the real Gateway Speedway in St. Louis. Going to be calling this. What?
It's actually a worldwide technology speedway.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, but I don't get paid to advertise for them. So anyway, it's Gateway. Anyway, I'm going to be out there. I'll be calling the SCCA Super Tour, the real live event out there, and you can listen in all weekend if you want to hear. Be on PerformanceMotorsportsNetwork.com.
All right. Well, it sounds like the WWTS is going to be ready to go burning rubber, baby, as we get ready to head out there for some SCCA Super Tour coverage next week. So we might actually have a week off on the broadcast unless Taylor comes in with me, or I somehow manage to convince James Pike. But somehow,
Well,
I don't know
you know
how well
what?
that's going to work.
Well, next week we are going to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, and
Mm-hmm.
you were telling me before the show started that you have a little bit of trouble and never actually even heard of the track until you saw it on the schedule. So I think I might have to come save your butt for that one.
Oh, well, that's going to be fun indeed. Well, we're just about wrapped up with qualifying here. About 90 seconds left to go. But yeah, no, he's actually right for everybody watching the broadcast. I had no idea that Mid-Ohio was even a track. The only track that I actually recognized that was in the Ohio Valley area is Eldora, and we all know why. That's Smoke's track.
Looks like we got about 2 minutes left in qualifying right now. It is still the Raging Cajun Ed Jones up at the top of the leaderboard with a 30.52. No one's been able to really touch him. As we took a look a little bit early on, Cocoa Puff was out on the track getting his qualifying laps in, and looking at timing and scoring for him, he's currently sitting in 28th with a 31.82. So he's got a little bit of work to do tonight. He'll be starting around 28th or right outside that top 30 if any more drivers decide to make a qualifying attempt once we are done. But now we're closing in to less than a minute to go.
Yep, less than a minute to go. And Princess Crystal, I'd have to hear Coco's Burning Rubber Baby before I give him props on being the better of the two of us. And anyway, between you and me, John Force and Larry Mack will always do it better. There's nobody better than
A lot of folks were saying Elliott Sadler had the best one.
Well, now, yes, Elliott had a good one.
Okay, hold up. I think the best Burning Rubber, and I think this is going to tickle Steve the Mule Thompson a little bit, as well as I think Andy. I think the best one that got the best laughs was from none other than Miss Natalie Decker when she was on Burning Rubber.
I mean, of course, obviously. I mean, there's no denying that.
There is no denying that one.
Oh man, we love Natalie. She's good people. But qualifying has subsided here, guys, and it is time to grit up and do the thing. We're going to go ahead and run down your qualifying order, brought to you by I40 Media and Metro Ford of Chicago. Starting on the pole, Eddie Jones, Chip coming in second, Josh Mayu in third, Eric Hesby fourth, Ben Shepard top five, Mike Fitty Watts coming in sixth, Steve the Mule Thompson going to start in seventh, Mike Schrader in eighth, Brian the Bull Glass in ninth, and Patrick El Champu Milligan starting in 10th.
Dan Berghoff will be starting in the 11th with Mr. Everhart starting in 12th place. Chris Scales, JR, will be starting in 13th with Jim Westerfield starting from the 14th position. Troy Torgerson will be starting in 15th with Jeff Gilmore in 16th. Big John Paris will be starting from the 17th position with the Bandit Rupert in 18th. Thomas Allman will be starting in 19th with none other than Mr. Commandant Schultz rounding out your top 20.
Kevin Cornelius is going to be your number 21 position. David Rogerson is going to start 22nd. Ed Larson Adams, 23rd. Gary Wolbuck, 24th. Scott Eversole, 25th. 26th is Matt Blinkos. Tex Kilburn, Joel Kilburn, that is, 27th. Cocoa Puffs will be keeping a watch and closeful eye on him, starting out at 28th. And 29th, Ken Huff. 30th, Stephen Maddox.
And rounding out your top 40 starters, or top 39 starters for the night here. In the 31st position, Bruce Pearson, Michael Berger, 32nd. Joseph Mahar, normally a good qualifier, going to start all the way back in 32nd or 33rd. Dwayne MacArthur going to start 34th. Terry Atwood, 35th. Gary Corbett starting in actually, it looks like Gary Corbett's being pushed back to end of longest line here. He's qualified 40th on our charts here. Peter Norquay, 36th. Charles Eston, 37th. Scott Collins, 38th, and Lee Applebaum, 39th here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
There's a reason why Joseph Mahar didn't qualify well, even though you said he usually does, because he's a 3-number car. So maybe he earned, he figured out he shouldn't do that. But we also got to say, man, the number 159 here again, we got Terry Casey Atwood, man. I've been following him close the last 2 weeks.
Wait a minute. Okay, now I know why Atwood said to watch out, because you've been stalking him, Andy. Jesus, come on, man.
Yeah, Terry Casey Atwood, buddy.
I hope you let them put a restraining order on you.
Yeah, I know, right? It's gonna end up being a restraining order. but
If
not going
this
to be too
league
much.
if this league does not adapt Casey Atwood as his nickname, I'm going to be pissed.
Well, we'll have to talk to Steve the Mule Thompson about that one here. But pace lights are off on the Ford Mustang GT, and it looks like it is going to make that hard left-hand turn down pit road. Coming to the green flag, we're going to turn it over to Taylor Burris.
As they get ready, green flag is in the air. We are burning rubber, baby, as they come down to across the start-finish line to start the race here. As they work their way down, it is going to be our race leaders heading down into turn number 1 right now as we see Raging Cajun Ed Jones pull away from the race lead.
And yeah, Eddie Jones definitely making a push ahead off that top spot there, and going all the way back here. Let's take a look at some of our other front runners here, Andy. What do we got here?
Oh, we've got a Cool Ranch Chip second, Josh Mayhew third. Eric Esri is holding out in fourth, and these guys are trying to line up right now all the way back to about 10th in single file, Wayne.
Single file action. I'll tell you what, it's impressive to already see these guys getting off to a good start like they are here. And not much double file, actually, all the way back through the pack here. It looks like we'd have to go all the way back here trying to see what Race View can give us here. Double file action looks like it's all the way back, probably about the 20th or 30th spots here, Andy.
See a little bit going on in around 11th to 15th between Dan Berghoff all the way back to Jim Westerfield. Those are going side by side. In fact, Chris Scales and Mr. Everhart are going side by side as they come across the line heading down into turn number 1.
Yeah, the action is side by side back there in turn number 1. Scales, everyone back there is just going nowhere. Right now, Wayne, I can say this is the point where they're going to start feeling the difference in these tires.
They're definitely going to start feeling the difference in the tires indeed. Typically, it's about the first 5 to 6 laps that the tires start to wear off a little bit on Charlotte, because Charlotte's a bit grainy in the back straightaway, and then it seems to smooth out as you get more towards the corners in the front stretch. But so far, Andy's still following in the back of the field here. Side-by-side racing action. Coco is just kind of letting them slide on by. He's not going to do anything that's going to damage his car, and just keep it wheels up the whole time through.
Yeah, Coco Puff is in IPL hell and wants nothing to do with any contacts or wrecks tonight, Taylor.
Oh, he does not. Tell you what, who had a little bit of a close call was number 42 of Ed Larson Adams. He got a little bit loose coming through the middle of turn 1 and 2, but was able to recover nicely, but lost a couple of spots, dropped him outside the top 20, but in front of him, there's a couple of good little battles going on. One of the battles I'm watching is the 8 of Chris Scales, along with the 17 of Kevin Cornelius. They're going to go side by side as they come off of turn 2, as we see now Chris Scales move up to 17th.
Yeah, Chris Scales definitely making a move up on the outside there, coming through turns 3 and 4 right now. But it looks like to the inside here, we're going to see not Kevin Rupert. We're going to see Kevin Cornelius, actually. Totally different Kevin coming back inside here, and he's going to take over the 19th position that time by.
It looks like we got Ed Jones here. Looked like he was stepping out to about a 3 or 4 car length lead as he's starting to pace the field here. Second and third, they're only separated by about a car. That's going to be Chip and Esri in the second and third position.
Chip and Esri. Go for it.
Go ahead. Go for it.
Take it. We're fighting over who's going to call this race. This is beautiful. I love this. All right, Taylor, it's all yours, buddy.
Well, if we look at the lap times between the top 3 right now, they're only separated by about half a second from Esri, sitting in that third position at number 27, trying to keep pace with Chip and Ed Jones as they come through turn 3 and 4. But they have pulled out to about a second lead over Josh Mayo and Fitty Watts as they are coming off of turn number 4. But these top 3 are starting to separate themselves quite well from the rest of the field.
Top 3 are indeed starting to separate quite well right now. The separation right now looks like between third and fourth, roughly about 0.7 of a second here, and there's no doubt in my mind that Esri, he's been a bit of a competitor the last couple of weeks here, Andy, and he really showed his stuff at Dover a couple of weeks ago. Now, last week even, or 2 weeks ago, excuse me, in Martinsville even had a good bit of a competition, a bit of a competitive streak in him.
Yep, that's correct. And someone else you cannot rule out at all anytime during this race is the number 69 of Ben Shepard. He's someone that's been showing a lot of speed too lately, Wayne.
Most definitely. Ben Shepherd definitely won that. Well, needless to say, he actually won the Burning Rubber Radio Truck Series this past Wednesday night here on the Old Bastards Racing League. And Shepherd has quite a few wins under his belt already, not just in the Truck Series. He's had wins here in the Xfinity Series. And if I remember Steve the Mule Thompson telling me correctly, he's also got a couple of Truck Series wins under his belt, too. Excuse me, Hemp Shack Nationwide Series races on Monday under his belt as well.
The ARCA Series race, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll tell you what, guys, peaceful racing so far. Not much to really talk about. Nobody really stepping out of play just yet here as we're following through various cars in the field. Actually, there is one that I do want to take a look-see at here. Where is Steve the Mule Thompson? He's kind of just hiding back there in 7th. He started 7th and hasn't really changed much since the start of the race.
No, he certainly hasn't. He's been really running in that spot, holding his line for the most part. I mean, him and Ben Shepherd have been following closely with the rest of the top 5, and as he's holding off Mike Schrader as well in that number 4 behind him as they work their way down the back straightaway. It's pretty much a 3-car pull away for the top 3, and then another 3-car pull away with Steve Thompson and Mike Schrader catching up to make it about a 4 to 5-car battle for 4th position.
Yeah, a 3-3 and then a 4-car break off there once you get past 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. That's going to be another, that is about a 4-car breakaway. 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th there, roughly about 0.8 of a second apart from one another here, and then it goes all the way back another 0.4 back to Dan Berghoff in the 11th position.
My question is, are the top 3 here going to burn the tires off these cars? I mean, they're pulling away. They're showing a lot of speed here early on, but guys, if you have never run Charlotte before, the tires go away quick.
That they do. And then on top of that here, one thing unique to the OBRL that you don't see in things like Road to Pro or in the NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series is that the OBRL only uses 60% tires, 60% fuel, as well as a few other small modifications to make the racing as competitive as it is. So normally at Charlotte in a Road to Pro or Coca-Cola iRacing series race, we would typically see drivers come down with this duration probably about 35 to 45 laps. Instead, we're going to see these guys coming down here probably actually in maybe about another 5 to 7 laps.
Going to be critical and interesting pit stop strategies for some of these drivers in order to do that. Now, Ed Jones, Chip, and Ezery, they may be, due to the fact they're pulling a little bit of a gap over the rest of the field, they could be saving tires. I mean, I see Ed Jones now. He has about a 0.6 of a second lead over Chip in that number 39. So that could be critical for him to start saving the tires just a little bit to try to go that extra lap or 2 laps ahead while the rest of the field starts making pit stops. But he has to be careful not to stay out too long on those tires. Otherwise, he will lose way too much lap times on the rest of the field.
That he will. And one thing, and it looks like a little bit of smoke coming off of a car up there in the front. Did somebody get in the wall, Andy? I missed that.
No, it looks like Jones may be having a little bit of a connection issue here. And when he warps out and comes back, little smoke comes out from under the car.
Oh, gotta love that good old net code. Smoking under the tires, burning them up as they come across the start-finish line now. Lap 16 underway here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Looking through the field right now to see if there's any other close battles. I'm going to go back to about 14th with the number 24 of Big John Paris. He's in a little bit of a battle with Everhart in the 58 as they come off a turn 2. He's going to take a peek to the inside as they go down the back straightaway. Can he make it work to where he can hold it inside? The answer will be yes, side by side. And number 24 Pepsi as they come off a turn 4. The 58, though, Everhart is able to hold the momentum and work the outside as best as they can. Contact as they come through there. What a save for the 24 of John Paris.
Yeah, big save indeed. It looked like that. It looked like that number 58 just about cut off that right front nose on good old Big John Paris right there. But saved it, as you said, Taylor, coming through the tri-oval there. And now it's going to look like we're going to see Big John Paris try and cut to the inside again. Now through the back straightaway through turns 3 and 4 here. Paris gets a little bit of a run on him. We're going to see the number 58 machine scoot up high just a little bit, and Paris going to complete the pass. But looks like we're going to have a possible no crossover move coming to the start-finish line.
There ain't enough tires to do crossover moves right now, guys. Let me tell you, they're starting to throw these cars into the turns and pray a bit. I will also say, driving these cars last night, they need a little more toe out because this is, as the tires wear, the setup becomes scary is the best thing to say on the straights when you start accelerating off the turns. So you'll see this as we start to get some folks take the bay to pit road.
Yeah, we're already starting to see folks coming in on pit road here. Actually looking at a battle right now here with the number 38 of Patrick Milligan. Andy, we were talking about it last night. Or earlier in the broadcast here. Patrick is somebody to watch out for. He seems calm, cool, and collected, but when he gets a chance to make a good run, he ain't going to turn it down.
No. Patrick is very competitive, and he's going to sit back there and conserve things until the end of the race. One thing I will point out here, we have one car that's already headed for the garage area and put it on the hauler, and that's going to be the 88 of Gary Corbett.
Oh, man, yeah, we're going to have to find out what happened to Corbett there a little later on. But looking back at the battle now with Patrick Milligan on the inside of Brian the Bull Glass, and coming off of turn number 2 into the back straightaway, it looks like we're going to see Milligan make a solid pass here, and we're also going to see Dan Berghoff come up behind him as well, and he's going to follow the tail on the inside line here. Also, the number 98 now, trying to find a full number here, Troy Torgerson. Good old boy, Toy. Looks like he was trying to make the pass as well, but could not complete it that time by.
Yeah, they're putting that...
He's going to try again, though, as they go down into turn 1 side by side. He'll go. The 98 has a good bit of momentum to carry him through the corner, and he might be able to get around Brian Glass as he will complete the pass off of turn 2.
Beautiful completion of the pass there through the back straightaway now, and he's going to sit right up behind that number 18 machine of Dan Berghoff, and then also right there Patrick Milligan as well. And again, these guys back to single file wide racing here, lap 21 now. So we should start to see pit stops probably in about the next lap or two here, Andy. The leaders should start to come in. But if it's anything like Martinsville was 2 weeks ago, we saw guys hold on to their tires for way longer than they probably should have. And at the same time, in some respect, it actually paid off for them.
That is true. I will tell you right now, Ed Jones is showing speed and he's showing strength. He's still out there putting really good lap times down. But let me tell you, Eric Esri is not letting them get away here with only about 2 car lengths between first and second.
Yep, Esri not too far behind indeed. In fact, actually, you're talking about Eddie Jones's lap times here, Andy. Looking at what he's thrown down, his overall lap times actually are about right now 2 seconds off what he dropped as his best lap time so far at a 36.48 being his best overall. Last time around, a 32.048. So he is easily about 1.6 seconds off of his best time right now.
Yeah, look who's reeled him in, Taylor.
Yes, indeed. We got ourselves a battle for the race lead now raging on as Ed Jones holding off Eric Esri. As we look at the lap times between the two drivers, Esri ran about a 10th faster. In fact, was actually the fastest car on the racetrack outside of those who have not yet pitted, as he gets a big head of steam down the back straightaway now. Will he take a peek to the inside? No, he's going to go to the outside as we see Jones throw the block down into turn 3. They will go to the inside. We see Esri side by side with Jones as they come off of turn 4, and Esri will complete the pass as they come across the line. New race leader, Eric Esri.
Very good, very clean pass, but then again, that's what OBRL is known for here. And Charlotte Motor Speedway, you know what? It's one of those tracks that, much like Darlington, sometimes can be a little bit of a pain in the ass. But either way, we love getting to see these guys clean and green all the way through here. So far, no cautions either, guys. If you're just joining us here on the I-40 Metro Ford of Chicago Xfinity Series here at the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway, I am Wayne Owens alongside Taylor Burris and Andy DeLay out on the turns. We're having a lot of fun here tonight, guys, chilling out, maxing, relaxing, and hopefully don't see anything too crazy the rest of the night.
No, so far it's nice, clean racing. Nothing major going on as a couple of cars towards the back half of the field are completing their first round of pit stops. But it's a Burning Rubber Radio crew call tonight as we are here getting ready to get things rolling and finish up as we are approaching the halfway mark, or actually probably the quarter mark here for tonight's race of 120 laps. But Esri still out on the racetrack, pulling about a 0.3 of a second lead over the Raging Cajun Ed Jones, Andy.
That's right. And Jones not letting them get too far away. He's getting in that draft there and probably letting those tires cool down a bit. It's going to be Esri's turn to get out there and set the pace and burn up what's left of those tires.
Most definitely. And, we were talking about folks taking pit stops here. I'm a little concerned at a couple of guys who took pit stops early on here. Lee Applebaum, one of our newest rookies here, Andy, his pit stop time the last time through on his first green flag run here, 55.2 seconds. So it makes me wonder if there's not been a little damage on the car, or if somebody might have had to get up and go 10-100 real quick.
Yeah, that's right, man. Someone had to get out of the car real quick and take a run to the infield restroom.
Most definitely. Well, either way here, Esri still off to a really good jump right now. Currently about actually less than half a second as far as live timing and scoring right now, roughly about 4/10 coming out now, coming through turns 3 and 4 now through the tri-oval here. And we're seeing him, that time by about half a second away from the lead, breaking away from Eddie Jones there, Andy.
But there's one thing to keep an eye on as the field starts to cycle through pit stops. These guys up front are giving up a lot of time to the folks in the back. What that does is when it comes time for them to pit, the guys in the back are going to have made up a ton of time on these leaders who are running, like you said, a couple of seconds slower. And it looks like we have a taker. That's Ed Adams on pit road. No, excuse me, that's Jones on pit road.
Yep, Eddie Jones is coming down pit road, as well as Steve the Mule Thompson. He's coming down pit road as well here. And currently looks like even Ken Schultz, Charles Eaton, David Rogerson, all those guys have also come down pit road here, completing their service. We're going to see what the live timing and scoring gives us for pit stops here. Stephen Maddox also coming down pit road as well here too, guys. Steve Thompson right now in the pits here, getting 4 tires and a clean run of fuel here. And hopefully he can get out and possibly even beat Eddie Jones out through here.
Yeah, it looks like he may be able to, but let me point out one thing. Eric Esri shows no signs of pitting yet.
No signs of pitting indeed, and looking more again at the live timing and scoring here. That's going to bump Patrick Milligan all the way up to second place now, Andy. And actually, never mind, Esri has just committed to coming into pit road. I just saw the light come up on the score box.
175.
Yes, indeed. Coming down pit road, he will finally respond. He could be trying to break this down into quarters. 30 laps, then another 30 laps around lap 60. He'll come down again. And then, of course, the final 90, or he'll come down for his final pit stop. So it could be a 3-stop race for the number 27 of Eric Esri, along with some of the other drivers who just pitted in the previous couple of laps before. It's a good strategy call to try to play it out as best you can. But when to come down pit road will be critical, as we see Esri now make his way to his pit box, followed by several other drivers as well, as some more have come off their pit box to complete their first stop of the night.
Most definitely. And looking at Esri now on pit road here, it looks like he's going to take 4 in fuel, and we're going to get back out onto some more competition here on the race field, as it looks like Mike Schrader now is going to be scored as the race leader here in that number 4 machine. And we're going to see if we can follow along with him here on the broadcast. And actually, no, he is coming down pit road for service himself.
Yep. Right now, the one who is currently leading the race is Mr. Everhart in the 58, as he is working his way around the field, followed by Big John Paris in the 24. Then we'll have Mike Schrader sitting in third, as the 24 or the 29 of Michael Berger is going to be rounding out your top 4 with Ed Jones, who should, once timing and scoring catches up, should inherit the race lead after these 4 drivers ahead of him have made their pit stops. And looking at the timing and scoring right quick, gentlemen, it's about a 2-second gap between Jones and Esri. So just shows how important pitting a little earlier than your competition can help you out drastically.
And then if you also look, Steve Thompson took advantage of pitting earlier than our leader did, and the 27. And that's what I'm talking about. He reeled them in just by pitting earlier.
He reeled him in. Now, granted, he only managed to gain 1 spot off of pit stops that time by, and it looks like Big John Paris now coming in for service as well here. And it looks like Raging Cajun Jones, Mr. Eddie Jones, going to be back up on the top of the leaderboard now. The pit stops have 100% cycled through here, Andy, and we're ready to rock and roll here.
Yep, getting set in for the second part, or the first round of pit stops are done now. Right now, these guys need to just settle in, find a groove. It's time to ride until the end of this thing.
Most definitely. Yep. Right. Well, at least ride for about the next 25, 30 laps or so here. Because seeing as most of these guys came down about lap 30, 31, 32, somewhere running there. Next round of pit stops probably going to be right about, as Taylor said, about lap 60-ish or so. And you know what? While we're sitting here enjoying some time, let's go ahead and crank it up for everybody. Give you guys about 90 seconds of sexy racing action here on the Old Bastards Racing League. And we got a car on the wall coming back. Lee Applebaum here. Looks like he had a bit of an incident there. Andy just happened to do a little bit of crank it up here, and well, it didn't turn out so well for that 101 machine of Lee Applebaum here. No caution on the speedway just yet, though, and we're going to look to see if there's anything going to be changing here with that momentarily.
Now he's coming down pit road right now and taking a look at the car. Got a little light damage on that car here, especially the front end. They're going to take a look at it as he pulls into his pit box, Taylor.
Yes, indeed. He'll come down pit road to get service required to his race car, as we are still clean and green out on the racetrack, with Ed Jones having about a 1.3 second lead over Eric Esery, with Steve the Mule Thompson rounding out your top three, some 0.8 back from Esery.
And looking here back on the replay cam to just see what might have happened here. Now, granted, you guys won't see this on the live feed here. It looked like Applebaum, coming off of turn number 2, got himself a little bit loose and collected the outside safer barrier wall there, but just enough of that kiss of death, more or less, that shot him into that inside safer barrier wall. And it looks like that entire left front is completely crumpled in, Andy.
Yep, and he's taking it back behind the wall. They're going to put her on the truck, call it a day.
Yeah, it's such a shame that we got to see Applebaum hap out early here. Actually, let's see if we can maybe catch up here. Maybe see if you can get your hands on Mr. Applebaum here. Where is Lee hiding at? Actually, it looks like he's already disconnected the radio. No, he didn't. He did not disconnect his radio. Let's go ahead and see if we can grab him here. Hey, Lee Applebaum, Wayne up in the booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, buddy. Was watching you there for a hot minute here as you coming through and got a little loose off of 2. What happened?
I just didn't get out of it soon enough.
Good, Peter.
Yeah, those breaking points, those things are always nutty, aren't they?
Yeah, they start to change on you.
Thank you, sir.
Well, so, and I do believe, actually, this is the first time I've seen you in the OBRL. Is this your first race tonight?
Negative. I've been around for a little bit. I just had some hand surgery, and I'm just starting to get back into racing.
Oh, good to see you healing up there, buddy. Good to see you back on the track here. We'll let you go ahead and rest up for the rest of the night here now that the car's on the hauler, and hopefully see you back here next week at Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, I'm working on making a comeback here.
Most definitely, buddy. Well, all right, we're going to put him back up in the race channel here so that the officials can talk to him as needed. Good guy, actually, from what it seems like here. Pretty quiet, though. What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, it's quiet. That's what you're supposed to do as a 3-number guy. That's why I'm not a 3-number guy anymore. I'm up here in the booth with you, brother.
No, well, of course you're not a 3-number. You're a 5-number, Mr. 11003.
That's all right with me. You can find me in their practice races. That's about it. But let me point out, looks like Eric Esery is starting to close the gap on Ed Jones here by only just over half a second.
He's reeling them in as they come off of turn 2 right now, as we are 43 of the 120 laps run here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And looking at the lap times, he was about, I'd say 2/10 faster, just about, almost, compared to Ed Jones, as he gets a big run off turn number 4, as he is catching up to Ed Jones now as they come across the line. But looking at these two drivers, Esery is definitely a man on a mission to get back to the lead.
Esery, definitely a man on a mission, but look who snuck his way up to 3rd, Andy. The number 67 of Steve the Mule Thompson.
Thompson making it happen. Thompson's always, you can count on him in the top 5 sometime in the race. He may wad the car up, but sometime after he's in the top 5, but he's there now, bub.
Martinsville, a prime example to him wadding up the car. I was had a chance to go down to the pit road area and talk to him after the race, and he told me after that disqualification, after too high of an incident count during the race, he actually threw the wheel, broke it, and then went out and gardened for a little bit back behind his hauler, Andy.
Yeah, he'd get over it though. He's back.
Oh yeah. Well, and one thing that's one thing that's great about simulation racing is that even if you wreck out, if you end up calling it a day, caution on the speedway.
And a new leader.
Let's see who we've got in the looks like we've got the number 57 of Jeff Gilmore that's gone around here. We're going to try and see if we can look at the replay cam here. Now, granted, again, you guys are not able to see the replay cam on stream, so it's just us here in the booth that can see this. And it looks like Dan Berghoff in the 18 coming across the start-finish line right there back behind Gilmore coming through turn number 1, and he gets right underneath the left rear quarter panel of Gilmore, and that's going to turn him around sideways, and it's going to send him right down. Oh, in contact. Once again, who else made contact with him there? We're going to have to take a look at that here. That is also the number 58 machine. And I'll tell you what, we've been talking about a lot of these guys all night tonight. And the 58 machine was somebody we saw early on actually have a chance at doing something good in Mike Everhart, too.
Yeah,
Yep.
Mike Everhart had a good run for the most part of the race, but after that, it's going to be a tall order, and probably safe to say his night will be done after making that hard contact with the 57 of Jeff Gilmore.
Well, 58, I'm showing right now, he's going to have a lot of downforce in the right rear as that right rear is crumpled way up, and everybody choosing to come down pit road for 4 tires and fuel.
Yep, everybody coming on down for tires and fuel this time by, and Esri no exception to that rule. I think he learned his lesson after green flag pit stops this last time around here. And looking at everybody's pit stops right now here, Esri, 4 tires of fuel out of the pit box here, 14.4 seconds.
Oh, but Jones is going to beat him.
Eddie Jones just barely beat him by, half a second here. Actually was a 10th faster on his pit stop that time around, too. So we're going to see Jones and Esri as your top 2 this time around after pit stops.
Rest of the field as they race their way off pit road will be Steve Thompson, Ben Shepherds. Then it is going to be Chip in 39, followed by Troy Torgerson in 6th. It's Josh Mayo in 7th with Milligan in 8th, Brian Glass 9th, and then Rupert rounding out your top 10.
And looks like Westerfield, Schrader, Paris, and Scales going to round out the top 15 here. Ed Adams, Mike Everhart, Ken Schultz, Peter Norquay, Dwayne MacArthur, your top 20. And I'll tell you what, so far, we have seen a lot of shuffling in the field so far here at Charlotte. Again, a lot of single file racing, not very challenging, or not too many challenges for a lot of these guys tonight, but when it's time, they definitely make some moves.
And our lap car's coming down pit road right now. And let's see, is that Steve Thompson back in for down pit road again?
No, that is not Steve Thompson. No, Steve is still out.
Not.
Actually, it looks like, he's going to fall in line there again behind Eric Esri in the 3rd position here. So he actually lost no time on pit road. He got to maintain his position coming off of everything here, running about, from what I can see here, about 0.6 of a second slower on his pit stop that time around. You know, it's kind of infamous too, going back to the Darlington Xfinity race yesterday. Now, granted, these guys will be running at Charlotte this coming Tuesday or this coming Monday as well. And we noticed that, Kyle Busch, for prime example, used his Cup pit team in the Darlington race. It makes me wonder if Eddie Jones didn't have a little extra fuel in the fire for his pit crew tonight.
Yeah, it seems like it anyway. Hey, something before I forget about it, we're going to be missing someone on Tuesday night's broadcast of Burning Rubber Radio, and that is Jeremy Taylor. He's not going to be there. He is going to be spotting during the Truck Series race. So another one of our Burning Rubber Radio cast out working NASCAR.
Well, actually, the fun part is Jeremy's actually going to be in 2 places at one time. Reason being is he called me up earlier today, Andy, and said, "Hey, would you mind meet me in the studio on Monday and putting my bid on the air?" And I said, "You know what?
Yep,
let's do it."
Yep. So you still will hear him, but in real life, he's going to be out there calling the race for Bailey Curry.
And that should prove interesting because I don't think he's ever spotted for Curry before.
Not that I know of. No, usually it's for everyone else but him.
Exactly. Oh, and that's another one we want to talk about too. Is yesterday in the Xfinity Series race, and we tout him a lot, both here in the OBRL as well as on Burning Rubber Radio. Our good friend Jeffrey Earnhardt out in the 0 car at Darlington yesterday, finishing in 23rd position, which is a very respectable finish for that young man.
Yeah, it is, and he'll be moving to a full-time position with JD Motorsports as David Starr had to leave the organization due to losing sponsorship because of COVID-19. But hey, Wayne, the lights are out on the pace car.
Yeah, lights are indeed out on the pace car here. We're following Raging Cajun Eddie Jones, number 14 machine. They are side by side, and Jones has elected to take the inside line this time, Taylor.
He sure has, as they come through turn 4, all double filed up, ready to turn loose once again here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, as Eric Esri will be on the outside with him, as these two have been battling pretty much all night since the drop of the green flag. Steve the Mule Thompson, though, he's going to be seeing if he can get in the mix on this battle as they come off of turn number 4. The pace car is about to take the hard left turn onto pit road, and we're back at it again here momentarily. The pace car ducks to pit road to get out of the way of 40 roaring engines at Charlotte. Waiting for the green flag, and green flag is out indeed, and Esri gets a good jump over Raging Cajun Ed Jones, and Thompson.
Oh, and Steve the Mule Thompson almost took the back end of Eddie Jones's car out, and man, that net code got a hold of him too there for a little bit, both him and Steve Thompson, and we almost saw a little bit of 3-wide action. He tried to barely sneak it in there, coming through one now through the back straightaway, Andy.
And as they come through the back straightaway, it looks like everybody is falling in the line, except when you get back towards about the 9th place. We have Rupert, Glass, and Adams back there having
and a battle for the lead right now. Eddie, Raging Cajun Jones, Eric Esri. Esri now to the inside, coming through turn number 1, and it looks like Esri almost, and he does, completes the pass out of turn number 2 into the back straightaway. New race leader, number 27.
Eric Esri showing a lot of speed and leading here with 51 laps down at Charlotte.
Great battling indeed right behind, as Steve Thompson is holding off a hard-charging 69, Ben Shepherd as well, as they come down the front straightaway. So we have the top 4 under a blanket, just about battling it out for the race lead, as Esri is trying to hold the gap between him and Ed Jones as they come to turn 1 and 2. Off turn 2, they will come with Steve Thompson and Ben Shepherd right there in the tail tracks of these drivers as they come through there, with Chip in the 39 in 5th place, not too far, about a 10th further back from the top 4 as they work through turn 3 and 4. Esri, though, still maintaining the race lead.
Esri definitely doing a great job maintaining the race lead. And another one that I'm looking at right now here, the 98 of Boy Toy, Troy Torgerson, and he's holding up there in a decent, good spot, Andy, in top 6 spot right now, coming through 1 and 2.
Yeah, anyone between 3rd and 7th right now, it's a toss-up, and definitely Steve Thompson is feeling the heat from Ben Shepherd, and Ben Shepherd himself was feeling the heat from Chip.
That they are, coming off the tri-oval through the dog leg, now across the start-finish line, exiting that dog leg now into 1 here, Andy. And it looked like Steve got just a little loose there on the entry into 1. Now saves it, though, as he comes through turn number 2 and into the back straightaway.
Well, our leaders are side by side, and Esri and Ed Jones are side by side going into 3, Taylor.
They sure are, and Jones will take the lead away from Eric Esri as they complete the pass before they even come off of turn number 4 right now as they come down the front straightaway. And we see Esri trying to see if he can pull a crossover move, get to the outside, though. Won't work this time around as they head down into turn 1. He'll take a peek to the inside, but has to follow in the tire track as Ben Shepherd and Steve Thompson now gained a little bit more ground on the top 2 as they come off turn 2.
They have indeed gained just a little bit more ground here, roughly about 0.3 of a second, just a little bit more back is Steve Thompson in the 67 machine here, and Ben Shepherd also hiding back there about 0.4 of a second back. So right now the top 5, again, actually now the top 6 have started to kind of sort their way out just a little bit here. 0.7 of a second separates 1st through 6th here, Andy.
Yeah, and I told everyone they needed to sit back and ride right now, but no one's listening to that, as we've got a heck of a race of battle going on between the leaders, and Esri has ran down Jones again. So let's see, and it looks like Steve Thompson getting a lot of pressure from Ben Shepherd.
And taking a look here at the 0-2 of Josh Mayu, Andy, coming out of turn number 4 here and into the start-finish line here. Mayu had a nice little battle there that last time around here with Kevin Rupert as they come through 1. And side by side now, it looks like Jim Westerfield in the 35, and we're also going to see him and Mayu side by side here as they come through the back straightaway. It looks like Westerfield's going to get a clean pass on him coming through into number 3.
Yeah, Mayhew's losing a lot of ground, actually. He's going to get passed by Mike Schrader as well as they come off of turn number 4. That'll drop him back to 13th position after just being inside the top 10 as they come across the line, as we are only 3 laps away from the halfway point here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Mayhew, though, dropping back to 13th. Schrader, though, on a move through the field right now as he worked his way up into the 12th position, setting his sights on the 35 of Jim Westerfield.
And Mike Schrader, definitely no slouch here, especially at the intermediate tracks. We saw it a couple of weeks ago at the Dover Raceway, Andy, where Schrader gave everybody a good run for their money until he got collected late in the race.
Yeah, that was unfortunate because he had the car to beat there. But talking about cars to beat, man, the front two, and actually, yeah, the front two are about 3 car lengths off from 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and that's going to be Thompson, Chip, and Torgerson. These guys are nose to tail. Great battle right now.
Nose to tail, first and second, though, separated by about roughly a car length and a half here. But again, that net code it looks like it's kind of getting to Eddie Jones a little bit here, Andy, because that is given that we're seeing Eddie Jones get a little bit roughed up with that net code, and Esri catching up on him by just enough there. But he also has to whoa up too, just to make sure he doesn't get in his back bumper.
Taylor, you're gonna have to give Wayne a school on net code.
Well, I'm not really supposed to say net code. I've been trained to get rid of that coding out of my head when it comes to broadcasting with the Podium Esports Network. That's considered foul language in our terms over at Podium. So I ain't going to say net code. We're just saying he's having some computer hardware issues.
Well, if that's the case, then what is he tapping on the brake? What has he got, ghosts on the brakes or something?
I guess so, by the looks of it. I mean, I see the car for like 1 second. Next thing you know, that thing is gone and see nothing but smoke, causing a smoke screen for the rest of the field, trying to figure out where he's at. And there he is again later on, 5 seconds later.
Yeah, gotta love those ghosts in the cars. I don't even think we've got real guys in these cars half the time anymore, Andy.
Yeah, no, like they're playing Star Trek. They're warping everywhere, guys.
And a battle for the lead now coming through turn number 1, Andy. It looks like Esri going to get down to the inside. Shepard going to follow right behind him as well. And off of turn number 2 now, back straightaway. We're going to see a clean pass for the lead. Esri going to take it over once again and almost tries to get up into the outside groove, but he held it down in there. That spotter kept him clean. But now Shepard is going to go ahead and now take over the second spot as well. And that's going to dump Eddie Raging Cajun Jones back to third. And Steve the Mule Thompson looks like he's going to try and chomp away at that bit and get up there as well, coming through the start-finish line.
I don't think you've seen the end of Ed Jones yet. This battle, it's Shepard found his way through, just got on the bumper of Esri and found his way by Jones. But let me tell you guys, this ain't done by a long shot up front.
No, it's
definitely not done.
As we look, actually, Steve Thompson, Troy Turgeson, and Chip as well have caught up to the top 3 as well. So we have 6 cars under a blanket for the race lead as they come across the start-finish line and completing lap 63 of the 120 into turn 1. They will go. Ben Shepard, so putting immense pressure on Eric Esri as they come off of turn number 2 as we see the Raging Cajun Ed Jones go to the outside as Ben Shepard makes a mistake.
Yeah, Ben Shepard gets way loose coming into turn number 3 there, and it's going to shoot him down back up to the inside. Now we're going to see Eddie Raging Cajun Jones try and make a pass on the inside, coming through the dog leg as they come across the start-finish line here. We're going to see Jones get the clean pass for second once again, dropping Shepard back to third as they come into 1. Andy?
As these boys are playing around, swapping positions behind the first place car of Eric Esri, he's deciding he wants to try to check out by about 4 car lanes.
As they dive it down into turn 3 and 4, Esri's trying to pull away. It's now down between a car length between him and Ed Jones as they come off of turn 4. But here comes Steve Thompson, Ben Shepard, Troy Turgeson, and Chip. And don't forget, a little bit further back is Milligan, who is the closest car to watch this battle. He's got a front row seat to a 6-car battle for the race lead as we watch in battle between Chip and Troy Turgeson as they come off of turn number 2. As he saw Turgeson cut the nose off a Chip as they come off turn 2. Down the back straightaway they'll go as we watch these cars, watching and waiting to see who will make the next move to complete a pass.
Yeah, trying to see who's going to complete some passes that time around there. And it looked like the last time around, just watching the cameras here, coming out of the back straightaway and into turn number 3, we almost saw Chip have a little bit of a battle with Boy Toy Troy and then Steve the Mule Thompson as well here. And it looks like we're seeing Torgerson actually get right up on the back bumper here of Steve Thompson. Now, one thing we have to remember, Steve definitely does have ghosts in that car. And now we're going to see Torgerson try to go to the inside. Steve's going to block him and not let him by for that pass coming into one.
Ooh, they're getting nasty down there already. I tell you what, I'm sure Torgerson.
Oh, and Ben Shepard, Andy. It looks like Shepard might have gotten into the outside retaining wall here. He has lost a ton of spots here. He's getting passed up by Torgerson and by Thompson that time by.
My guess is he's pancaked this thing, that's for sure.
Probably a safe bet here, but that's going to push Ben Shepard now back into the 5th position here. So that's going to take him out of contention at least for a moment here. But we're seeing Steve the Mule Thompson coming up and catching up on these leaders right now, Andy. It is literally single file, nose to tail, about maybe a car length and a half difference between first and second. And we're seeing Thompson get right up now on the back bumper of Eddie Raging Cajun Jones there in second.
Jones is definitely putting the pressure on as well. Steve Thompson, though, I think he's going to be the one to watch these couple of laps here before we get to our next round of pit stops here as they dive it into turn 3 and 4. You see Thompson trying to take a peek to the inside of the Raging Cage and Ed Jones as they come off turn 4. A little further back, though, battle for 5th between Ben Shepard and Chip as the 6th place car in number 9 is trying to get to the inside of Ben Shepard. Will he be able to do it? No. Shepard shuts the door on him before they go into turn 1. As a caution.
Caution is out on the speedway here, and almost saw a pass for position there between Shepard and Chip here. Let's see who we've got. That might have got. Ooh, and I think I see it here. Looks like it might have been Scott Collins here in the number 180 machine. I'm going to take a peek here. Yeah, it looks like he might have had some contact in that Slim Jim 180. He couldn't he couldn't handle the power of the Slim Jim. Ooh, yeah. Actually, yeah, it looks like here the 180 coming off of turn number 4, he gets into the number 10 machine, and we're going to try and get a number on that, or get a handle on that driver right there, Stephen Maddox. Yeah,
Maddox.
So
that car's seen better days.
That car definitely did see better days. Both of them got the cars torn up pretty bad here. So, but it looks like somehow we're still seeing Scott Collins on the racetrack here. But one other thing that is also unique to the Old Bastards Racing League, if you're joining us for the very first time here, if you wreck somebody, you have a chance to go serve your own pass-through penalty so that you don't get one enforced at the end of the race.
Yeah, more than just a pass-through, you end up getting put a black flag the first lap of the next race.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so, I mean, definitely a lot of fair ruling within the OBRL. So we'll see if Collins is going to do anything about that. But it looks like Andy Leader's coming down pit road.
And our leaders, guys, coming down pit road, we have Eric Esri leading Ed Jones and Steve Thompson. Cars are right on each other's tails here. And we'll see whose pit crew is going to make the difference for these drivers.
We'll definitely see who's going to do it. Good up for him here. In fact, let's see, who can we possibly get a hold of? I don't see nobody's actually on the radio wanting to talk at the moment here, so we'll let these guys focus for just a minute here. But Esri in through his pit stall here. I'm also got an eye on Eddie Raging Cajun Jones. And Esri going to win the race off pit road, and Steve Thompson looked like he's going to come out second here.
That was bumpers, folks. We're talking about, I couldn't tell from the angle I was looking at who won that race.
All right, we're gonna play it back in super slow motion. No, it looks like Eddie Jones barely, and I mean just barely by a nose, beat Steve Thompson off pit road.
So Esri keeps the lead here, and it looks like the folks that aren't on the lead lap are going to be taking their pit service right now.
Yep, folks that are a lap down going to be taking service this time by as well here. And so far, 72 laps already deep into this race. And Taylor, we've only seen 2 cautions thus far, and it's for minimal accidents at that, from what race control has told us up here in the booth tonight. So I'm curious, knowing that we're a little over halfway through. We've already seen 3 pit stops. 4 pit stops, 2 under green, 2 under caution here, and not very spread out from when they took their green flag pit stops were the ones under caution here. Do you think it's a wise idea to pit this early, or would it be smarter to kind of hold out a little bit later on into the race?
Well, after this pit stop, when the caution came out, it was necessary for these drivers to take tires and fuel, because if you do not, you are going to end up towards the back half of the field very quickly, no matter how many laps you've been on tires. Tires are king here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Now, later on in the run, when we get a little bit further in, I mean, since now we just passed the halfway part and around pretty much the second quarter of the race, we're going to probably see drivers pitting a little bit after the lap 90 mark, possibly, in order to try to get to the final stage. So we could be seeing drivers pitting around lap 105, 110, possibly even, if we get a caution around that same period.
But knowing that we'd be coming down to 10 to go, possibly seeing not everybody having taken a last round of green flag pit stops. Again, question being, would it be wise to take those pit stops that late on and potentially maybe even screw yourself out of a victory, or would you rather maybe go ahead and play the gamble and come down maybe say about lap 95, lap 96? That way you've got at least more than the amount of laps left in brand new tires and fuel.
It all depends on what happens. I mean, we could have a caution. That's why some drivers might try to stay out as late as possible, till about the 110 mark, if possible. And then there's some drivers who try to pit early and risk the factor of a late race caution. So that's going to be the key to this victory, is just knowing when the right time to come down pit road will be. And we'll soon find out, as Big John Paris is going to take the outside, as he will inherit the race lead, as he decides to play the strategy game and stay out on his old tires. He's been on those tires for about 27 laps, so we got to watch out for tire spins here.
Well, and that was something that we talked about too, actually, just a moment ago. Who's going to play the strategy game, and who's going to keep it clean and green with brand new sets the whole way around? So Big John, he's been on his tires now for probably only about 12 to 15 laps, whereas everybody else here in the top 5 is going to have fresh tires, clean fuel, and they're going to be ready to go here, as now they are all side by side. So the pace lines are going to be out this time through, and we're going to be ready to go back green flag racing here in just a moment.
I can tell you one thing, that Big John Paris is going to drop back through the field like a rock. You agree, Taylor?
Yeah, he's been on those tires for 27 laps, not 12 laps.
Yeah.
So very big difference indeed. But he's going to be dropping like a rock.
I blame race control. They don't know how to keep their accurate timing and scoring up there.
That's why I use my own timing and scoring.
Oh, man. Well, either way here, it looks like we're seeing the pace car making that hard left-hand turn down pit road. Get ready to go back. Green flag racing here. 74 of 120 laps complete here at Charlotte. Green flag back in the air.
Ooh, it's going to be close, as we see John Paris lose it. He lost it with the tire spin. And I don't know.
And I tell you what, Steve Thompson pays the price dearly, falling back through the field as he got into the back of the 24.
Oh, man, I guarantee you, Steve is not going to be a happy camper after seeing that happen, Andy.
Nope, not at all.
My question is, did Eric Esri get a penalty regarding that? You cannot pass the leader before you get to the start-finish line to the inside. And even though he was on the outside, you cannot do that. So I'm hoping Esri did not get a penalty. He's still out on the racetrack, and I'm pretty sure race control is looking into that. But, of course, with that incident that happened with John Paris, I'm pretty sure they're going to give him a little bit of a leeway due to the fact of what happened.
Yeah, and actually, matter of fact, I just got word from race control, no penalty for Esri taking off at the start-finish line.
So I'm pretty sure John Paris's pit crew and crew chief is kind of slamming a little bit at the table right now, wondering what they were thinking on that, because I'm going to be honest, if it was 10 laps, I'd probably be okay. 27 to 30 laps now, not the best strategy call. You needed to come down pit road.
Most definitely so. And Andy, you're right. He is dropping like a rock through the field here. Started first, and just in 2 laps, he has already dropped back to the 12th position. And it is definitely was not the smartest move to make.
Yeah, not at all. I'm taking a good look here at Steve Thompson's car. Damage was minimal. Looks like he might have a bit of a rumple there in the hood, but otherwise he seems to be up to speed and no problem.
Yeah, he's definitely hanging speed up there pretty well here. But now what we're going to keep an eye on this battle for again here, looks like where did Steve actually end up at? He got knocked all the way back to 6th position here. And looking a little further up in the field here, we're going to see Kevin Rupert up in 5th Patrick Milligan makes his way up to fourth, and Troy Torgerson is going to be up in third. But definitely, again, the thing to look out for, the battle for the race lead here, as we're seeing Eddie Jones about 1/10 of a second, literally off the back bumper of Eric Esri coming through one.
Great battle indeed between the top two as they come off of turn number 2 right now. Esri trying to pull away from the rest of the field right now, but it's going to be a tall order for the number 27 as the Rage and Cage and Ed Jones is trying to stay in the tire tracks of that number 27 as they come off of turn 4. It's Chevy versus Toyota in these two cars as they come across the start-finish line as we are now completed 79 of the 120 laps. We see now Jones look to the inside through turns 1 and 2. Side by side they'll go, but Esri will prevail on the outside lane as they come off of turn 2.
Yep, Esri prevails coming through the back straightaway now here, and we're going to see Eddie Jones file in single file once again, but that inside groove definitely seems to be working very well for Ed Jones if he can get out in clean air for just a moment there. But that time by through turns 3 and 4 here, Eric Esri not going to let that happen as he is going to keep moving right down alongside with Raging Jones. Now we're back through into turn number 1. Andy?
And as we get back to turn number 1, our third place car is going to be Boy Toy Torgerson. He's about 4 car lengths back, and he's kind of by himself because we have to go all the way back about 4 more cars to Patrick Milligan running. He's got that number 10 up into 4th place. Could he be a contender at the end of the race, Wayne?
Patrick Milligan, I would not be surprised if he is a contender at the end of this race. Yeah, between him and Torgerson, Esri, and Jones, all 4 of those guys, we've seen it in the last few weeks. They have had good runs, but they got messed up somewhere along the way. So I think this is a redemption week for one of these guys here tonight. And word come down from race control here after that last accident, Andy. Gilmore has officially parked it, and he is in the hauler for the rest of the night.
That's kind of a shame because Gilmore was having a decent race.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was having a good run running around the top 15, top 20. But now back up to the race lead as we saw Ed Jones take a peek to the inside and before they head into turn 1 to get around Esri. But Esri shuts the door on him as they come off of turn number 2 as we keep an eye on these two. Troy Torgerson is starting to close in. He was actually fastest out of the top 3. The only driver faster than him out of the top 10 had to go to Mr. Milligan in the 38 car, who was about another half a second back from Troy Torgerson as they come across down the front straightaway. Jones looks to the inside of Esri once again as they come across the line.
Eddie Jones in that number 14 machine, he is definitely knocking at the back door of Eric Esri, saying, "Let me in. I'm going to get that eventually, son." And coming out of 2 now through the back straightaway. Now they're separated by about a car length here as we get ready to head into 3 and 4. And Andy, I'm starting to wonder, is it possible Jones is just conserving a little bit, giving a little bit of a battle, a little bit of give and take here and there, and letting Esri know he's there, but not actually going to make a move until it's just right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking he's just trying to keep Esri reeled in within about a car length or 2, running in those tire tracks and letting Esri do all the heavy lifting here, arrow-wise, as they go down the back stretch.
Oh, very nice. And you know what, too? I forgot to mention it, guys. Tonight, something unique on the broadcast. If you're looking down in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, we have the Coco Cam. Coco Puffs is with us in heart and soul here, and you're getting to see his in-car view as well as him puffing away like he does on the Wednesday night Burning Rubber Radio Truck Series.
Yeah. What happens if he drops a cherry or one of his cigarettes on his lap while he's driving?
Let's just say it's going to be an uncomfortable ride.
Well, we'll have to talk to him if we get another caution and see what happens with that one. But yeah, back to the battle for the race lead here. We're still seeing Eddie Jones and Eric Esri as they battle it real hard, coming through the start-finish line now, back through turn number 1, lap 87 now underway.
As they're diving it back into turn 1, Esri trying to hold off the Raging Cajun as they come off of turn number 2. Still going to be nose to tail between the 2 drivers as Troy, the Boy Toy Torgerson, is not too far behind right there, 0.3 of a second back and closing as he still ran the fastest lap outside around the top 5. The only other driver faster than him, Mike Schrader in the number 4, as we see a little bit of side-by-side action between the race leaders now. Esri to the top side, Jones to the inside as they go into turn 1.
Looking at turn number 1 here, we're going to see Eddie Raging Cajun Jones deep on the inside line Esri, I'm not sure if he's got anything for him. No, he does not that time by. We're going to see a brand new race leader, Eddie Raging Cajun Jones, and Boy Troy Toy. Boy Toy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Try that again there, Wayne.
That is a tongue twister, ladies and gentlemen. Boy Toy Troy. And we're going to see Eddie. Eric Esri go to the inside as they come through one now, trying to get that race lead back. Taylor?
He's going to try everything that he can. The boy toy, Troy Torgerson, is going to do the best that he can as he comes off of turn 2 and see if he can get inside and between the two drivers to make it 3 wide as they go into turn 3 and 4. But Esri going to do everything he can to fight the inside. But here comes Milligan.
Milligan is right there. And guess who he brings with them? Steve Thompson.
Yep, that means we have a solid break right now, less than 0.8 of a second, actually less than half a second now for the top 5 as we come into 1. Taylor?
5 cars under a blanket now as they come off of turn number 2. Esri, though, holding strong in the inside lane as we see Ed Jones hold the outside as we almost go 3 wide down the back straightaway, heading into turn 3 and 4, but Esri will hold strong. Now here comes Torgerson to the inside to get to second place as they come off of turn number 4, and Troy Torgerson will take second place, close by a nose, shutting it off of Ed Jones.
Just barely, and Patrick Milligan saying, hey, I want a little bit of this action too. As we come into 1, it looks like Milligan's going to get a run right up on the rear bumper of Eddie Raging Cajun Jones and try to make a peek inside for 3rd as they come to the back straightaway. Andy?
Yeah, all of a sudden, our leader, or one-time leader, Ed Jones, seems to be in trouble, falling back, trying to hold off Steve Thompson right now. Do you think maybe he overdrive those tires, Taylor?
Could be a possibility indeed, because he is starting to drop back like a rock right now in that number 14 Toyota Supra, as they go down. As Steve Thompson will now move up into 3rd position. Sorry, I'm starting to get a little bit of tongue-tied from you, Wayne. I think you gave it over to me now as they come down the back straightaway. As Eric Esri holding off Troy Torgerson now as they go into turn 3.
And I'll tell you what, going back up here, looking at the lead now, Boy Toy Troy going to try and make a run off of number 4. Coming to the inside, we're going to see Boy Toy Troy Torgerson coming across. Going to be no side-by-side at the start-finish line. It's still going to be Esri by literally 1/1000th of a second. But Troy Torgerson going to complete the lead pass, that time by in 1.
New race leader, Troy Torgerson.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what, now that we're getting towards the end of the race, and this is, again, one thing that about the Old Bastards Racing League that is always amazing. First part of the race, usually it's quiet, not much going on, but when we get past about 3/4 of the way through the race, these guys lay it on, and they lay it on hard, Andy.
Yeah, that's right. 4X be damned at this point of the race. It's time to turn it on, folks. We're working lap 94 out of 120, I do believe here. So it's time to get up on the wheel and go racing, boys.
It definitely is. Coming through the back straightaway now, it looks like Troy Torgerson is going to have about 2 car lengths now on Eric Esri now, coming through turns 3 and 4 here. But Steve the Mule Thompson closing in on that back bumper of Eric Esri in that 27 machine. Now it looks like Thompson going to try and make a pass to the inside, coming through the dog leg across the start-finish line. Not able to get the pass that time by, but he's still right up on the back bumper of Esri, coming into 1.
Hey, we got takers in pit road right now, Taylor.
All right, we're going to start seeing some drivers come down pit road, but it looks like our top 3 is going to hang out a little bit longer out on the racetrack as we look to see some of the drivers that are coming down pit road. Looks like Milligan is one of them, Gary Wobolt as well, so several more. 46 car as well is coming down, and Steve Thompson
and are going into pit road as well. All right, so our race leader and 3rd position, Steve the Mule Thompson, Troy Torgerson, both those guys going to come down pit road. That's going to give Esri back the race lead here. Now, we saw this earlier, Andy, where Esri stayed out a little bit longer than everybody else. Is it possible that this is literally just part of a strategy to make sure he gets through to the end?
This may cost him the race because he is losing 2 seconds a lap or more. And as we see him come out of turn 4, it looks like he's won't it up, and he's taking his turn on pit road.
All right, so Eric Esri going to take his turn down pit road here and get him some service. We're going to follow his car as he comes down for that final pit stop of the race. And I'll be honest with you guys, we're coming down to it here. We've got about 24 laps to go this time by, and I'm uniquely curious to know what's going to happen now in these last couple laps as we come to the close.
Looking through the field right now, only 5 cars have yet to pit right now. That's Brian Glass, Ben Shepard, Chris Scales, Michael Berger, and Mr. Everhart in the 58. So those guys will be coming down pit road momentarily as Esri has now completed his pit stop to rejoin the racetrack.
Yep, Esri back on the racetrack, 4 in fuel here as he's getting ready to come back on the racetrack here. And, speaking of Chris Scales, Andy, I have not heard back from our good folks at the iRacers Lounge yet on this big charity race that we've got planned here in the near future. So I think I'm going to have to go. I think I'm going to have to go knock on Scales' door and be like, "Hey,
you know what? They're scared."
Little taunting, Andy. You know what?
Are you scaring our competition away for this charity? I mean, it's for a good cause, Andy. Come on, we want to make them scared. We want to have fun with it.
You know, Taylor, that we're going to beat these guys backwards and forwards on the racetrack. And although they do have a quality show just like Burning Rubber Radio, you understand that Burning Rubber Radio has real NASCAR drivers. We have an Earnhardt, and we also have a Taylor Burris.
Oh my goodness, I'm good, but not that good. So I might put one of the legacy guys in for me on that race. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Once more details still to come on that race in the near future. But right now, 100 laps have been completed. We are down to 20 laps to go here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It is still going to be Brian Glass out on the racetrack still and losing a ton of time right now as we watch and see how much longer he'll stay out, as only 4 cars are still out on the racetrack. Ben Shepard back in second. Chris Scales, who gets contact from Steve Thompson. He's able to save it, though. But it now comes down pit road to a close call indeed, as Thompson just ran over Ben Shepard. I think Ben Shepard just didn't get out of the way quick enough for Steve Thompson.
Well, I think what was happening is Scales was probably trying to come down pit road, and we got caution.
Yep, caution is on the speedway here with just a little bit of time left to go.
This is a whole new game, boys.
The whole new ball game indeed, and it looks like we've got Dwayne MacArthur here, Andy. I'm trying to see what might have happened because he is actually parked sideways in pit road here. Let's see. We've got MacArthur coming off of 3 and 4 on the replay cam here, and it looked like he got a little loose somehow. Yeah, he got super loose, went to go brake actually to avoid contact with the 39 of Chip, and by avoiding the contact, ends up completely sliding into the grass and into the inside retaining wall on pit road. That car is toast.
Looks like a couple of more cars as well. Looks like the 99 of 50 Watts as well had a little issue trying to avoid, but he did not make the same mistake and hit any contact with the inside pit wall, but he will get a penalty because he did come through an unsafe entrance into pit road.
Oh, gotta love those unsafe entries. My, oh my, Miss American Pie. Well, needless to say here, you know what? We talked about the possibility of what would happen if we did get another caution here, and we're going to see if we can get a hold of good old Coco Puffs. Coco on the Coco cam. You got a copy?
Yeah, this is Coco. What's up?
Hey, so we see you on the Coco cam tonight, buddy. You're puffing away as bad as you do on Wednesday nights. Getting a little scared running in the back, it looks like, huh?
Well, yeah, I just got to do the IPL thing tonight. That's it.
Well, now you were telling us before the race started tonight that your IPL hell could potentially be worse than Andy's. How is that even possible?
Had a really bad 2 or 3 races at the very beginning of the season, which didn't give me any chance to get out of it. So, put me in a bad spot right there off the start, and I couldn't get out of it. So. I had a good car a couple of times and just got mixed up into some stuff and made some bad decisions. And here I am trying to get myself out of IPO hell.
So is it safe to say you're soon to join Andy in the 5-digit land?
I think so. I think they are working on 499 and he was 500 if I'm not mistaken.
Oh my God. All right, well, Coco, we appreciate you stopping in here for a minute, buddy. We'll let you get back up to it there. And guys, again, if you're watching the broadcast here, whether you're here for the first time or you're a returning visitor, down in the bottom right-hand corner, something cool for the first time tonight, the Coco Cam. You guys get to hang out with Peter Kopko, Coco Puffs, while we're live doing this thing here tonight. And again, we were talking about it here. This caution flag, Andy, this puts a very unique situation in play here. Less than 20 to go. most all green flag pit stops were completed that time through, except for about 3 or 4 drivers. And those 3 or 4 drivers now are literally our top 4 as the caution locks the field.
It's very, very interesting how this is going to play out here as folks on pit road, folks staying out, folks on 2 tires. This is going to be either one of the best races we've seen in a while or a complete sewer show here at the end.
Well,
Dumpster
I'll tell
fire.
you.
Dumpster fire, Andy.
Yeah, I was
Do
gonna
what?
say we got to keep it clean. We can't have sewer fires at Charlotte. There's no sewer. Either way, though, we're gonna get ready to see a bunch of these guys getting their laps back here. Those that were a lap down, they're getting the wave around since most of them were on pit road at the time of caution here, and trying to keep a look on the pace car here. Let's see where our beautiful little new pace car that wonderful Ford Mustang. Let's see here. Yes, Bob, if you're listening, I'm trying to pull you and it's not working.
We need to get Bob just for one broadcast. Just one. I think that would be the most entertaining race call we would have in a very long time.
You're not wrong about that one. All right, so pace car here, guys. We're focused on it for a moment here as we come through and enjoy a little bit of quiet time here, because now with everything situated the way it is, being on lap 105 coming around this time by here, that's going to leave us with literally 16 laps to go. And again, so much uniqueness with the lineup that we have for our top leaderboard here. The top 5 an hour wave around car is going to go by. Steve Thompson, Patrick Milligan, Eric Esri, all of those guys, Mike Schrader, everybody going to go around, get their wave around this time by. They're going to go back to the tail end of the longest line here, back on the lead lap. And it is going to, again, cycle back around here. Lights off on the pace car. Brian the Bull Glass, Chris Scales, Mike Everhart, Ben Shepard, and Jim Westerfield, your top 5 when we get ready to go green here in just a moment.
I tell you, these guys getting their lap back better just stand on it in order to get back lined up before this goes green.
Well, luckily normally under green flag situations, it takes about 30 to 31 seconds to complete a lap here. But under caution, it takes roughly about 57 to 58 seconds, or even in some cases about 1:05. So they've got time to get themselves lined back up. They won't have no problem with that there. The pace car will actually whoa up so that the end of the longest line guys can get repaced back up.
Be clear, Patrick.
So this is going to stack up to be very interesting, Taylor.
Well, this changes everything pretty much, as we are getting ready to watch them go here for about 14 laps to go, or 15 laps to go once they turn them loose here once again. Pace car is about to take the hard left turn down pit road. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to have a show here tonight. Brian Glass will lead them to the green flag here, waiting for the green flag to drop. And there's the green flag out, and we are back underway here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Brian Glass will take the lead away from Chris Scales as they head down to turn number 1.
Brian Glass definitely has a good, solid start there coming into turn number 1 here. Chris Scales, though, knocking on the back door. He's not going to let him get away that quickly. Ben Shepard also right there. Single caution on the speedway once again.
Let's see what caused that.
Looks like we've got the number 22 machine here, Andy, if I'm looking at this correctly. Let me see, because I saw him on the inside wall. That would be Bruce Pearson. And it looks like that right rear is pretty crunkled up here. So
and he pancaked the right side of that car bad, Wayne.
Well, let's see here. It looks like he had to whoa up really quickly. Yeah, he had to whoa up and then some. He had contact from him, Thomas Allman, and it looks like we've even had Mike Everhart get involved in that one as well too, Andy. Yeah, Everhart in the 58 machine, he got woed up pretty good as well. Got spun around. Coming through turns 3 and 4 there on the back south, or turns 1 and 2, excuse me.
All right, we're trying to get everything together here behind the pace car as everyone catches up. You think there's going to be any takers for pit road, Taylor?
Probably maybe a couple towards the back half of the field. We'll be doing that, so I have to wait and see what happens when they come down pit road.
Well, personally, knowing that these guys just took pit stops, I doubt we'll see anybody take a line of tires this time around unless they take 2 and go.
Oh, here comes Patrick Milligan. Steve Thompson does the fake-a-rooney.
Well, let's see here. Yeah, we do have a couple of takers coming down pit road here. It looks like Ken Huff coming down pit road. However, as we get lined up back towards the front of the field here, yeah, Patrick Milligan coming down pit road. He's going to take probably 2 tires. And okay, where is the pace car? Brian the Bull Glass.
And
Right
turn
there.
one.
Yep, there it is. But yeah, most of these leaders, Andy, I highly doubt we're going to see many of those guys taking any kind of pit stop service that time around, as we see Dan Berghoff go around for the wave around that time around. Possibly also going to see Fitty Watts as well, maybe make a return as well here too. And you know what? I promised Fitty Watts that he would be my target to pick on tonight, because he tried to punk me a little bit and tell me we were going to race Charlotte Dirt tonight. So
Didn't Steve Thompson get you saying we're going to run Charlotte the midget oval there on the front?
He was trying to say we were going to run the Charlotte Legends track, and I there's just no way 42 cars or 40 cars even for that matter of fact, you're going to have half the field lapped on first go.
First go, you're more like before they even throw the green flag.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong there. I mean, it's something that is going to happen, but you
know what? The best way to probably do that, if you want to run Legends or run the Cup cars on the Legends Oval, is probably just do this, and it's simple. Just run heat races, and then take the top 20 overall, and then go run. That's probably the best way you could do that.
You know what? That wouldn't be a bad thought, but somehow I highly doubt OBRL would go for something that unique. Because they love their inclusiveness in the league, and it shows with how big of a field they get every single week here for whether it be the Hemp Shack Nationwide Series, whether it be the I40 Media Metro Ford of Chicago Xfinity Series, the Burning Rubber Radio Truck Series, or the Metro Ford of Chicago Cup Series on Sunday. They always have big fields and big turnouts every single week.
Yeah, and it looks like 33 cars are still out on the racetrack. A total of, I believe, 7 cars are out of the race, with Gary Corbett, Lee Applebaum, Scott Ebersole, Jeff Gilmore, Stephen Maddox, Scott Collins, and Big John Paris out of the race here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Well, that's a shame to hear that Big John Paris had to retire, man. That falling back like that and then getting involved in one of the earlier cautions back on lap 60, lap 70 was not good for him. But it looks like we have John Hastings hanging out in the YouTube chat with us tonight here, telling us that Coco looks like he's racing in a disco with some flashing lights. Now, granted, he's got that camera pretty small, so unless you're watching it in full screen, you're seeing more lights than we are. Oh man, we love picking on Cocoa Puffs. In fact, actually, there's still the bet going around too that the Wednesday night boys in the Truck Series can't outdo us Burning Rubber boys on Friday night. And so far, the winner has been Burning Rubber Radio. But then again, I say that because all the Wednesday nights got going for him is Cocoa Puffin. we love you, Ken. We love you, Coco. All right, boys, we're wrapping up single file now. This time by, it's going to be 11. It's going to be 10 to go next time by as we come across the start finish line and get the green flag here. Taylor, thoughts on our final 10 laps coming up?
Watch out. It's going to get very interesting, very tricky for some of these drivers here, and it's going to be quite the show.
Andy, any quick thoughts here as we get ready for 10 to go?
Yep, watch the 69.
I don't know whether that could be dirty or clean.
Really, we had to go that route. I was thinking it, but I didn't want to say
it. I'll tell you what, Ben's a good boy to pick on when he's in Discord, and the number proves why. Either way, guys, pace cars leading them out now through turns 3 and 4 here. So we're going to see green flag action this time by, and I'll be honest with you, I'm going to be curious to see what Ben Shepherd can do in that 69 machine. Jim Westerfield also back in the 35 in 6th. And look who's hiding back there in 8th, Andy. Looks like we've got Steve the Mule Thompson, and also in 6th, in 5th position right now, we've got Commandant Schuss.
Green.
And it's green.
Green flag back in the air, and it looks like Brian the Bull Glass going to get off to another good jump start here. Chris Scales not off to a good start in turn number 1 here. And going to cut it down to the inside through turns 1 and 2 here, but Scale's going to hold it up to the outside. Shepard now making a move for second on the inside, and we're also going to see the number 12 of Kevin Rupert. First time we've talked about him tonight, Taylor, coming up for that second position as well, coming into 3.
He tried to take a peek to the inside to take it 3 wide down the back straightaway, but does not make it work as they come off a turn 4 right now. It is still going to be Ben Shepard moving up to second place with Rupert moving to third. Chris Gale, though, under heavy attack by Commandant Schultz as they come down the front straightaway into turn number 1, while Brian, the Bull Glass, starts to pull away. But here comes Ben Shepard, and it's 2x2 from 4th on back.
2x2 as they come through the back straightaway now, and it looks like now they're going to start to kind of single file it out here through the back straightaway, though. Jim Westerfield, that 35 machine, trying to make it over Troy Torgerson now. Torgerson on the inside. Chris Scales up one more high. Taylor, you done did it to me, son.
No, you started that. I just finished it.
Oh, man. You can tell we've had too much fun here tonight, guys. 8 to go this time by out of turns 1 and 2.
As they come down the back straightaway, Brian the Bull Glasses now have about a tenth of a lead over Ben Shepard, who's under heavy assault from Rupert in that number 12 Skull Bandit Chevy Ford Mustang, actually, as they come off a turn number 4. 3 cars under a blanket as Commandant Schultz in the 91 starting to reel them in. Another 2 car lengths back as they come across the line. We are 6 laps to go here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Woo, 6 laps to go this time by, and Brian the Bull Glass barely holding on to a 1/10 of a second lead now over the 69 of Shepard. And you know what? We're looking at chat here, and Princess Crystal, one of our favorites who hangs out with us on the regular, she is picking old Ben Shepard to get number 2 this week. Not just the Burner Rubber Radio Truck Series, but he's looking for that I40 Media Metro Ford Chicago trophy as well. And it looks like Rupert tried to make a move to the inside on Shepard, but Shepard shut the door coming across the start-finish line. Taylor?
He's going to try everything that he can as they go through turns 1 and 2. Bull leaves the door open. This could have given the opportunity to Ben Shepard to take the lead, but Glass shuts the door on him as they go down the back straightaway. Contact as Rupert goes down to the bottom. Deep inside the bottom of the racetrack as they go through turn 3 and 4, and Rupert will now go up to second, but here comes Commandant Schultz with a head of steam with Jim Westerfield right behind him as they come off of turn 4.
And Ken Schultz, I'll tell you what, he is coming up like Jaws on Ben Shepard right there in that 69 machine. Coming across now into turns 1 and 2 now, single file, and we have 5 laps to go. Coming through now to the back straightaway here. We're looking at Ben Shepard. He's kind of falling off the pace just a little bit. I think Rupert might have got him just a tear loose and not able to really pick it back up here, Taylor.
No, he's struggling just a little bit right now as they come through turn 3 and 4. Ben Shepard now about a car length back from Rupert and Glass as they come across the finish line. 4 laps to go here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
4 laps to go this time by, and the battle is now definitely going to be between Brian the Bull Glass and Kevin the Bandit Rupert here in that number 12 machine here. We're going to focus in on these guys as we get ready to wrap up this race here, as now they come through the back straightaway. Literally 0.108 seconds separates first and second here. Another 0.2 of a second back to third and Ben Shepard.
As we watch on, the top 3 still under a blanket as they come off of turn 4. Brian the Bull Glass also trying to hold off both Rupert and Ben Shepard coming across the line. 3 laps to go at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
3 laps to go this time by through turns 1 and 2, and we're going to focus again on this lead battle the whole time through. Looking at Rupert now, getting right up on the back bumper of Brian the Bull Glass, down to the inside through the back straightaway as we get ready to head into turns 3 and 4. Can Kevin Rupert make a move this time by? No, he's going to get shut down once again. Brian the Bull Glass now coming through 3 and 4 here. And look who's coming up on the back door here. It's Ben Shepard in that 69 machine coming through the dog leg off the start-finish line now. 2 laps to go.
Caution is out.
Green-white checker.
We are going to see a green-white checker finish, and all Patrick Milligan. I just happened to see it out of the corner of my eye here. We got Matt Bonkos, as well as it looked like Patrick Milligan got involved in something here, Andy. We're going to have to see what happened here. It looks like another triple-digit incident, and trying to get a number on this one here for us. Looks like it was the number 159 machine
Terry
here.
Casey Atwood.
Oh, man, not good. Terry Atwood, though. Oh, and no, it was actually Milligan. Milligan got way squirrely loose coming off of 4 there, and Atwood had to do a lot to avoid it. And I'll be honest with you, I'm trying to see where he got involved in that, though. Yeah, I can't see where he got it. No, he did not get any contact, even though it looked like it from the initial replay cam here. But either way, this is going to bring it down now, boys. Green, white checker. Who do we think is going to have a chance at this now that they're going to line up nose to tail, side by side, one more time? And next flag decides the finish.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be exciting. Ladies and gentlemen, do not leave this channel.
Definitely do not leave the channel whatsoever here. And I'll tell you what, let's see if we can get a hold of Brian the Bull Glass in that number 87 machine here. I think we can get him on the radio here. Brian Glass, Wayne and Taylor up in the booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Yes, sir. How you doing, man?
Oh, doing pretty good, buddy. It looks like you had a little bit of white knuckle racing there, coming down to 2 to go that time until that caution. What's your thoughts and strategy now coming into these final couple laps?
Just hanging on back there, trying to keep that 12 behind me. It's I kind of snaked them there to get the lead here. They all pitted. Caution just luckily came out, and I'm just up here hanging on, man.
Well, I'll tell you what, buddy. Again, like I said, some white knuckle racing there for you that last couple laps through here, shutting the door on Rupert a couple of times here. Hopefully, hold it in there, hold it in tight, and we'll see you in victory lane here in a couple of laps. What do you think?
Yes, sir. I'm gonna do my best down here. Big shout out to my buddies watching, Jimmy and Dennis, and thanks to Burning Rubber Radio, Old Bastard Racing League. It's a heck of a good time out here. I hope everybody's watching and enjoying it, and I'll hold them down best.
Most definitely, buddy. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and let you get back on up there to it. That way you can focus through the rest of the last couple laps here. And I'll tell you what, guys,
You cursed him, Wayne.
Cursed him? What do you mean?
You said you're going to see him win the race. You know what that means. Whenever you or I say something like that.
No. Well, actually, no. Yeah, I better shut up because I said that about Kyle yesterday. I thought Kyle was going to win the Xfinity race. No, I was wrong. Sorry, Brian.
You ruined it. You doomed us all.
I will say one thing, though, about that Xfinity race yesterday. And Burning Rubber Radio, Chase Briscoe. He's come up. Wayne, you were part of that with me, Dirty Dan Smith. We have been with Chase Briscoe ever since he was on dirt. And way back when he was on dirt. Risky Brisky, we called him. And the name stuck. That name was given to him by us on Burning Rubber Radio, Risky Brisky. And, it was a heart-tugging victory as his wife miscarried their daughter earlier in the week, and our heart goes out to Chase Briscoe and his family.
Most definitely, yeah. Thoughts and prayers go out to all those guys there. And I'll tell you, it's something that you never want to experience, but sadly, if you have, you know exactly what those guys are going through and what they've experienced in these last couple of days. So seeing Chase win the race yesterday for the Xfinity Series, that was definitely that was definitely a makeup for everything that had gone wrong in the last couple of days for those guys.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And earlier last year in November, when I was with Bobby Dale Earnhardt at Homestead, Risky Brisky, he surely does remember us. Wayne, he came up and hugged my neck, and that's how everyone here at Burning Rubber Radio was doing.
Super deal, buddy. Well, I'll tell you what, we just found out Jimmy Strickland's in chat here on the YouTube side of things watching the race tonight, and he has confirmed that Brian Glass is not a superstitious man, Andy, so maybe I didn't curse him after all.
Well, we'll see, brother.
Oh, yeah, we'll definitely have to see. All right, so as we come across the start-finish line here, lights are out on the pace car. This is, again, a green-white checker finish. Whatever flag we see next time by after the green flag is going to determine the finish of this race. If we end up getting a caution, we have 3 attempts to make this thing happen, as far as I've been made aware by race control. So we're going to see if we can get ourselves to the checkered flag next time by here in about 2 laps. Taylor?
It's going to be exciting. It's going to be full of action. We're going to see who can come out on top. Will it be Brian Glass, the Bandit Rupert, Ben Shepherds? We've been watching him all night battling his way through the field. Or could someone else swipe one away here for the checkered flag?
Well, we'll definitely have to see. Brian the Bull Glass, Kevin Rupert, Ben Shepard, Ken Schultz, Jim Westerfield, and Troy Torgerson, your top 6 First 3 rows side by side, coming through the back straightaway, and now into turns 3 and 4. That pace car is going to be ready to make that hard left-hand turn. And Brian Glass, once again, Taylor, elected to take the inside line, which seems to be the favorite amongst most of these guys tonight. However, and actually I've just been modified by race control, we have 2 attempts at a green-white checker. Pace car coming down pit road right now. Everybody coming out of turn number 4 into the dog leg and across the start finish. Green flag back in the air. 2 laps to go, this time by at Charlotte.
Down to turn 1, they're heading up. Cars are starting to get wound up just a little bit now, but it's still going to be side by side between Brian Glass and Rupert as they go out of turn number 2. The 12 car trying to pitch the 87 as they come off of turn 2 to try to keep the line of momentum up for him as they go down the back straightaway. The next flag will be the white flag as they come through turn 3.
Coming through turn number 3 right now, and it looks like Ben Shepard coming to the inside, trying to get by Rupert for second. Commandant Schultz coming up behind him as well, and it looks like side by side now across the start-finish line. We're going to see Ben Shepard take over the second position now, as now white flag this time by. Last time through for these guys. Brian the Bull Glass is off to at least a 2-car length lead now over Shepard and Rupert as they come through turns 1 and 2 now into the back straightaway, though Rupert going to get back by for second once again here now. Coming into turns 3 and 4, another quarter mile for Brian the Bull Glass to take it home here tonight. And now turns 2.
Oh, they're wrecking.
They're wrecking, but there's no caution as we come to the start-finish line. Brian the Bull Glass is going to take it home. Ben Shepard second, or excuse me, Kevin Rupert second, and Ben Shepard, your top 3 here at Charlotte.
How about that?
Great racing, guys.
Whew. Well, lucky for me, I'm not a curse.
You aren't. You got lucky there, brother.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, big wreck right there at the tail end of this race here. All right. So we're going to let our top 3 customary do their thing. Line up on the start-finish line here. We're going to take ourselves just a small break while they line up and get their photographs. We're going to come back, do some interviews, and just a moment, you're listening to the I40 Media Metro Ford Chicago Xfinity Series on the Old Bastards Racing League.
I got pictures, guys. Good job.
All right, we are back here at virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Old Bastards Racing League. The I40 Metro Ford Chicago Xfinity Series just concluded here. Brian the Bull Glass, your winner. Kevin Rupert second. Ben Shepard comes home with the top 3. Ken Schultz and a nice run coming home 4th. And Steve the Mule Thompson finishing in your top 5. We're down now for some interviews here. And down in victory lane, we've got Mr. Taylor Burris with our winner tonight, Brian the Bull Glass.
Here with Brian Glass. Congratulations. How in the heck did you were able to hold off those drivers? Because Rupert and Ben Shepard were coming at you with a full head of steam.
Man, I got no idea. It was a good race. They that long run there where they all pitted, and I stayed out for a little bit longer, and the caution came out, and I was like, well, I'll see how long I can hold them off. I never thought I could hold them off to the end there, man.
Well, tell us, what was the difficulties of trying to hold them off? I mean, you first were out there with some very old tires, over 20 laps old just about before then. But as the race went on and you had that caution, you were able to hold them off. So just the right strategy call.
Yeah, that and hey, that low line seemed to work for me. I know a lot of guys like that top line on the restart there, but if I could get into one and clear them, I could just barely hold that bottom line a little bit, and seemed to work out.
All right. Well, before we let you go there, Brian, who would you like to thank who helps you race from week to week?
I like all the guys out here. I really ain't got a favorite, hell, I race all of them every week. Practice races. I enjoy all of them. Steve runs a heck of a league here. Thank the Old Bastards Racing League. Thank Burning Rubber Radio. Got a couple of buddies, Jimmy and Dennis, watching back home. I hope everybody that was watching enjoyed it. And no, I enjoyed it, man. It's a great league and fun race tonight.
All right, Brian, the Bull Class is your winner at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
All right, and down on pit road here, we've heard that Andy DeLay has managed to catch up with Kevin Rupert from second place finishing tonight. Andy?
All right, I'm here with Kevin Rupert. Kevin, you and that Skull Bandit, you were pressing for the lead, took it for a few times, but I'm telling you, how did you keep that 69 car behind you there at the end?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't know. I thought I had something for Bull there at the end, and then the 69 got inside of me, and it sort of slowed me down a little bit. But I think in one of the turns, I pinched 69 down just a little bit and killed his momentum. I think that's what kept me in second there. It was a lot of fun. I mean, I started back near 20th and just took care of my tires most of the race, but there at the end, there was no taking care of the tires. I think my right front's going to press charges on the abuse I did.
Well, there at the end of the race, the last few laps, you were the fastest car on the track. If it would have went on any longer, you think you could have got around that number 87?
I don't know. I had a chance. I don't know. Bull's good. We always race each other really clean. Most of the race, Bull would take off and leave me, and then slowly as the laps would come, I'd catch back up to him. But I don't know. I would like to see what would happen there, but, that's how it goes.
All right, man. Anyone you'd like to thank before we pass it over to Wayne?
I want to thank my pals, Ken and Coco. They're my racing buddies. We chat during the race, and Ken gives me the strategy because Lord knows I'm the worst at strategy. I'm just the driver. And a couple of my buddies that like to watch the races, Matt and Jason.
All right, so we're going to hand it back over to Wayne. Wayne, you are with their third place finisher, Ben Shepard.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Ben's a hard guy to wrangle there in that 69 machine. Ben, coming home third place tonight, buddy. You had a heck of a run just as much as these guys up in the top two did here. A couple of times you made a couple of passes for the lead, but didn't seem like it held out for you there towards the end. How do you feel otherwise, buddy?
I'll tell you what, this has to be probably the best third place finish I've ever had. I got to hand it to my pit crew. They had to bang out the fenders 2 times on pit road, a couple of 12-second damage pit stops that they fixed. And, it hurt me a little bit on the top end speed. And just like Rupert, I was back in 20th and figured I'm just going to ride this out. And luckily a caution came out and put me back up there to battle with those great racers up front there. So hats off to the racers and my pit crew for getting me back up front.
Most definitely, buddy. Well, I'll tell you what, before we wrap up here tonight, anybody you want to thank here before we head on out?
Family and friends. Ops, friend Eric, and we had a guy quit the team, Travis, today, but that's okay. He'll learn his lesson.
Most definitely, buddy. Well, on that note here, we'll let you guys go ahead and enjoy that top 3 celebration. And Andy Taylor, next week, we know Andy's not going to be with us. He's going to be out at the Worldwide Tech Speedway there at Gateway, covering the SCCA Super Tour. So it's going to be myself and Taylor Burris next week here from Mid-Ohio Speedway. And Taylor, I'm looking forward to a little bit of road course action next week here on the Old Bastards Racing League. What you think, buddy?
It's going to be exciting. It's going to be interesting to see these NASCAR Xfinity cars going both left and right at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. And I got to tell you what, it's going to be interesting to see if they're able to negotiate through the Thunder Valley there at that section of the course. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. Do not forget to tune in 9 p.m. here on the OBRL Racing League page.
Most definitely, guys. And I'll tell you what, for everybody involved, from Steve the Mule Thompson, who admins this wonderful league, to my broadcast partners, Andy DeLay and Taylor Burris, I am Wayne Owens. And also for Peter Kopko, running that Coco Cam the whole night as well. Have a great rest of your night from the Old Bastards Racing League. We'll see you next week at Mid-Ohio.